Of Kei'mani Latigue, the full unedited body cam video as police find and shoot the man they say killed her. What it shows happened just before an officer pulled the trigger. Plus, we get answers from Toledo's top cop.
We were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community.
The investigation into the abduction and murder of the 13-year-old girl continues. The full uncut interview with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley.
Political officials are going to have to step up. The local organizations, nonprofit and private, the businesses are also going to have to step up, because at this point, we should have been doing this a long, long time ago.
We just can't wait to make this happen and make it better for these kids out here.
The call for answers and justice continues as our community mourns the death of 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue. Her family is remembering her life as she would have celebrated her 14th birthday this week, and her father remains in the hospital, shot by police and charged with killing her. Here's how the story has unfolded. Toledo police posted the alert that Kei'mani was missing on Tuesday, March 18th. It was just after 4 p.m. She was last reported at her grandmother's home on Elm Street in North Toledo. The next day, WTOL 11 spoke with the teen's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. She's also Kei'mani's legal guardian. She said she came home from work Tuesday morning, found Kei'mani was missing. She called her school before making a report to TPD. By Friday, March 21st, family, friends, even strangers came out to North Toledo to search for Kei'mani. Her mother, Tiara Caston, was there from Cleveland. Kei'mani's dad, Darnell Jones, would be charged with abduction on Sunday, March 23rd. Court documents show he was the last person with her before she went missing. Then on Monday, March 24th, police found a body inside a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office would later identify the remains of those of 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue. Her time of death was 12:19 p.m. Jones would be charged with murder that same day, and Columbus police tracked him to the city on Tuesday, March 25th. It was then that officers ended up shooting him and finding a gun at the scene. In a moment, we'll show you the unedited body cam video of this encounter. We do want to warn you, the video is graphic. There is profanity. You can see Columbus police identify Jones walking in the short north. They approach him. He says he wants to die, ignores police commands, appears to move his hand in his pocket, and then is shot. You're going to see two views, one from the officer who shot Jones, and then it switches to another responding officer whose body-worn camera better shows what happened next. Viewer discretion is advised.
Where am I?
Don't do it.
What's your name?
Just kill me.
Dude, show me your fucking hands right now.
Me, bro.
Pull your fucking hand out of your. I swear to God, pull your.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Gas in a second. Medic, move.
Don't fucking move.
Don't move. All right, suspect down. All you guys are okay.
Don't move. He's got 33 right there.
33 in his hands.
No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there are 33s right here. Don't you move or you're going to get shot, okay? All right? Got it. Yep. That's him. Somebody get out.
Somebody get on the main air. Get us a medic.
I'm working on it.
All right, on your belly. All right. I got cuffs. There you go. Thank you, brother. We'll get you help, okay?
I just want to die, bro.
No, I know, but we can't allow that.
I can't.
All right.
I don't want to live.
Get us some cruisers. Secure this scene.
Copy on the radio.
All right. Who fired?
Him in the car. He did too.
All right. You did? I did not. Okay. He did. Okay. You good?
All right.
You good? All right.
I know.
All right.
Listen to me. I got to roll you off. I got to get you up on your side, okay?
I got to get you up on your side. I got you. All right. Where you hit at, bro?
I don't know. All in my
Yep.
leg.
All in your leg.
He's all hit right here.
I know he's hitting his arm once.
Oh my God. Need a medic here now. Where's the
I know
coming?
they're coming. Okay, we got him. He's hit once in the arm.
All
All right.
He's hitting the side here.
Yep, you're hitting the side.
Okay.
You're gonna be fine.
Hey, look. You know what's good about this?
What? Sit up, okay?
You're gonna be fine. I can't move my leg. I know.
Okay.
I know.
I think they're broke. Where do you guys need us?
There you go. How's that?
They broke.
Okay.
I can't get up.
Okay. We're gonna leave you sit here like this. Take a deep breath.
Copy that.
Do me a favor. Take a deep breath for me, okay?
Hey, move your car. Block that road. You're on shell cases. Get that road blocked.
We
All right,
we can't lay you down. Okay, you've
We're
got to
holding
stay
you
up. I'll hold you up. All right. You just relax. Lean back into there. There you go.
You're gonna be fine.
Listen, hey, nothing's ever that bad. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Darnell, right? Do you have anything else on you? Do you have any more guns?
where
Yes.
the gun's at? Where's the other gun at?
I don't.
Darnell. Hey,
Sorry.
Darnell.
Do you have anything else on you?
Yeah, he said he had a gun.
I don't. I think he's just fading. I don't know. Nope. Just stay back, okay, please.
Stay back.
Hey. Okay. Okay. We're making good witnesses. You're fine, ma'am. You're fine.
We got to get him searched. So medic's going to take him.
I know. Hey. Hey, you guys somebody just go chill.
Somewhere else.
Hey, have that cruiser start getting scene tape.
Let the medic in. Step back.
They're fine. It's fine. Yeah, we need a cart. We need a cart.
Cart. Darnell, stay with me, bro. Keep talking to me, okay?
Dave, 511. If anyone is listening at home, officer support.
Sit here, legs, arms.
Which way do you want his head?
Here.
Right there. Okay.
You need him out of the cuffs?
Yeah, we're gonna need him out. All right.
We're gonna have to. Hey, listen, we're gonna roll you over one more time, all right? Gotta get those cuffs off you. See, relax.
Clean up. There you go. He's hitting the arm,
Leg, arm, and I believe left chest.
I get a good search on him.
I am. Everything's got to come off. You taking him all down enough in this? Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Pull this off.
All right. Cut stuff off. Cut your gun. You have to help us lift?
Yep.
Grab one, grab my head. Down. Or down. Hold on.
Just stare at him. Good. Hey, don't move your arm. I know it hurts. They're gonna help you, okay? Well, we're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to kill you. No, we're not gonna take it off your arm, okay? They're gonna cut it off in just a second.
Jones was due in court on weapons charges in Columbus, but did not appear because he remained in the hospital as of Thursday, March 27th. Now the call for justice continues. Rumors swirl on social media, and there may still be more questions than answers. WTOL 11's Silver Barker took the discussion to our city's top cop. She sat down with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley to separate fact from fiction.
So my first question for you, Chief Trenley, you know, there's been a lot. So let's kind of do like a timeline, and let's start with first question. Let's go back to when Kei'mani was first reported missing. You know, there was a report sent out, but is there a reason why there wasn't an Amber Alert? That's a lot of people's question.
Yeah. So when she first went missing, our Amber Alert requires specific criteria when and how we do our Amber Alerts. And that's kind of like a national standard. And so it did not meet that criteria because at that point, there was not any thought of there was a family kidnapping or family being involved or any foul play at that point. At this point, we had a lot of different stories about a missing 13-year-old that may or may not have ran away for different reasons. So at that time, we'd already interviewed all the family members and we were talking to everybody. So there was nothing that would have qualified for an Amber Alert or that actually an Amber Alert would have done for the investigation.
What is the usual criteria for an Amber Alert, just so people know?
Yeah, so there's different things, but a lot of times, especially when it involves a family member, we need to have that we suspect a family member has kidnapped them and has run off with them, that we have descriptions of cars or locations and stuff like that, something that we can provide. And for this type of case, it just did not meet that criteria.
You guys received about the body being found on Miami Street in the house. There was a tip that you guys received, or was it anything in the report? It was mentioning that you guys were notified, and I believe it went to the detectives' work as well. There was communication and messaging through, was there a phone call or anything, or Crime Stoppers? Was there anything sent out? How did you guys find out about the body inside the house?
Through detective work, really. So through some interviews and some investigating. At this time, I can't disclose why or how, because it's still very pertinent to the investigation. And at this point, we're not ready to talk about that aspect of it. But yes, it was our detectives doing a great job interviewing and investigating and following up on some leads that got us to that location.
Now, going to the body, when it was reported that it was found in the house, when lots of people found out and it spread in the community, people showed up very soon right after that while you guys were there doing your work. There are a lot of people live streaming on their phones, showing it and kind of just talking about it in general. There's a huge presence there. I mean, we saw it. I was there that day. Did that at all impact your guys' work there while you were doing that? Did it affect how you guys were doing? I mean, could you guys have done anything differently there if people weren't there, yelling, shouting? What? No,
obviously, anytime you add a little bit of chaos to a scene, that makes it a little bit harder for us to do our job. But, we're prepared for that. So we have officers that can contain the outer perimeter and make sure that no one gets in. And then our detectives, they're focused on their job. They're going to do their job, whether there's people watching or not. So they're still going to be able to do it. It's just the outside officers being involved more and trying to maintain, as you just said, a very highly agitated scene for good reasons, right? But the reality is, it doesn't affect the investigation itself. It just makes it a little bit harder for the officers on the scene to maintain that perimeter.
Do you have any idea how many of your officers were out there that day?
I actually don't know how many we had deployed out there that day. I know we had a lot of detectives, roughly 10 to 12 detectives that were on scene. As far as the outer perimeter for the number of patrol officers on scene, I don't know that number.
Now, moving on to Darnell Jones, he's in the hospital currently, and that's where we're kind of at with that situation. But I know that yesterday you mentioned in an interview that you guys sent detectives down there for questioning. Has he confessed to anything? Has he confessed previously before then? What are you guys getting?
So we did send detectives down and interviewed him in his hospital room. We made progress there. So we have some things that we're going through at this point. Once we get all the information that he provided, that we've gathered with the prosecutors, we'll walk through that timeline with the prosecutors and decide with their guidance on the charges that will be filed. And then at that point, we'll talk about, what charges are going to be out there. We'll release that information. But right now, we did talk to him. We are moving forward. I would say we're in a pretty good spot investigatively anyways on moving forward with this case.
Speaking of charges, on Monday, we read in a report that he was charged with third-degree felony of abduction. At this point, what charges are we still looking at? Do you happen to know? Is that charge still there, and is a murder charge as well? So,
as my understanding right now is the murder charge is added and the abduction charge is still there, but that's right now, those are the only charges that are out there. Obviously, as we work through all of the statements and all the leads that we have now, there may be additional charges.
Do you believe that Darnell acted alone, or is at the time right now, are you guys considering other suspects, or is there other people you guys are looking at?
We're always looking at the chance that there might be multiple people involved. I don't necessarily believe that or disbelieve that that's the case right now, but that is something that we will continue to run down through the investigations. There are statements that always conflict each other, and there's always kinds of things that need to be tied up in an investigation, and that's the phase we're in right now. So right now, we only have one person charged.
I know why you guys can't say what he told detectives yet. You know, there was a lot of talk earlier about you know, his statements not matching, which was said in a police report. There were a lot of inconsistent statements and stuff. The statement that he's given now, is it a bit clearer? You don't have to say the details of that. I know you guys are still working, but is it clear?
I think we have a much better understanding of what happened. By far a lot more understanding after we talked to him. But at that point, that's about as much detail as I can give you on our conversation with him.
Do you think that, you know, hearing from the community, this is something, a case we've seen the social media very, very present with a lot of comments and sometimes misspeculation and misinterpretation, misinformation, a lot of that being spread out there in social media, people saying he was found before he was even found, you know. Do you guys wish maybe you would have communicated a little earlier about this case, or do you guys wish you would have had a press conference or something?
So there was nothing that we could have done in a press conference. We did a press release or a news release from the department, and our detective bureau did as well. And then our detective, our lieutenant in charge of the investigations, was on scene that day and actually gave an interview that day. There's nothing else that we could have done in a press conference. We gave out that information. We waited on the press release from the coroner. Those are different things that we do that give out details. A lot of times, up until, you know, he was arrested, there wasn't a lot of information we could put out. And so at that point, a press conference is not really going to accomplish anything. We were giving out as much information as we could. Social media is going to be social media, and people are always going to speculate and run with their own theories. And unfortunately, we can't control that. But the reality is, most things you read on social media, especially early, probably aren't even true.
Speaking of that in social media, is there any rumors right now regarding this case that you want to dispel right now that you can think of, like, hey, this is the fact?
I can't think of it. Well, I can't think of anything out there on social media right now. I try to avoid it as much as I can. So I don't have anything really right now that I would say, hey, stop listening to that because it's not true. And really, it's probably too early for us to even address some of those issues.
There is a lot of things going on in this case and a lot of details and things being looked at. We know that you guys are still investigating, but, you know, in terms of how long you think you guys are getting closer to the answer and closer to a conclusion, you know, how long do you think this is going to take or play out? Unfortunately,
that's very hard to speculate. There is a lot involved in this case. Obviously, we're talking about 2 different cities being involved. We're talking about, you know, we have a week of things that happened, right? So we are working the case as fast as we can. As I said before, I think we're in a really good place investigatively. And I think as soon as we can button everything up and run down every lead, last thing we want to do is be premature in our charges or premature in saying, this is the only suspect we have, we're good. We don't like to do that. We like to make sure we investigate everything out there. So when we do take this to trial, there is no room for doubt.
Speaking of that, you guys are reactionary, right? I mean, when there's trouble in the city, you guys are the ones called and you guys come in. But looking at this case and just looking in general, is there anything that the community can do with things like this or with situations like this that help prior to you guys having to come out and do something?
Oh, absolutely. So our community knows their neighborhood better than any police officer can possibly know it, right? So no matter how many hours we spend in the neighborhood, there's things that we will never hear or never see that other community members or family members are seeing. So if there's ever any doubt in anybody's minds about any, so let's take this case, right? So if you ever have any doubt that some child is being abused or something is just not right, then by all means notifying us or notifying CSB and getting people, the authorities involved early before it gets to this point, because unfortunately with this case especially, once we were involved, it was already way too late for us.
The details, you know, it might be a lot. And when we hear of cases like this of children involving children and children on the scene, you know, that can be a lot to take in. Is there anything that you are doing for the officers right now to help them get through that, who were there on that scene?
We are. So over the last several years, we've really developed a wellness program that is kind of top notch. And we immediately have our peer support officers reaching out to those officers. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we'll do debriefings and bring in professionals to come talk. Our wellness coordinator, Sergeant Welling, is always contacting them and offering up services and to see if there's anything we can do. You know, as an officer, we all deal with trauma in different ways. Some people like to talk, some people don't. But we're always looking out for those warning signs to make sure that we don't need to intervene.
All right. Is there anything else that you would like to include at this time that you would like to mention about this case that I did not ask? Now's the time.
So the only thing I would add is, you know, I'm extremely proud of our department. This case moved pretty quickly, and we were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community. There's nothing worse than a missing that's still missing, and there's that hope out there. So I think our officers did an outstanding job. And I'll say it again, I think the Columbus officers, when we contacted them, asked for assistance, they did an outstanding job as well. And, you know, we have two good police departments that are coordinating and communicating and working together to get to a conclusion, at least on this case.
I just wanted to go ahead and introduce the case. I'm still doing research. I'm still working on Sonia Massey. And so I can get you guys an update on that. I decided not to even rush and make sure I had all of the information. But at any rate, so I'll get that one done sometime tomorrow. And then we have members only at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock members only, guys. Anyway, so that's the deal. He's captured. I think pretty much everyone knew that he was in custody, but they hadn't released the body cam footage, I think is what the deal was. So I wanted you all to be able to see that footage. So we have that going on, and then we're going to talk about, you know, have a full live stream about her case. So I'm watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of articles, and trying to do a lot of research and taking notes so that we can go ahead on and cover the case. But you know what is interesting? Yeah, well, one thing is that they didn't charge for the essay. They definitely said that she was assaulted. They definitely said that. So we have to see what happens with that and why they, you know, decided not to put that charge on at this point. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the grandmas. I think that there is something there. Nettie says, what? I found essay from many different media. Yeah, I definitely heard that. So, and then, you know, the grandmother, she said when she came home, her glasses was on the floor, her I think her school clothes or something. And she said she couldn't even see without her glasses. So I'm wondering if he possibly may have strangled her in the grandmother's house. That's a possibility too. And then dumped her at that abandoned building. That's what I'm thinking. Because she said, I don't know if she said her coat or her school clothes or something were on the floor, her glasses, which she couldn't see without. And that's how she knew something strange was going on. He has mental health issues. We looked at a video last night that, where he was having a total meltdown about his life and what wasn't going right in his life. So, so there's something going on with that. And then he's asking the police to kill him. It might be one of those insanity plea deals. So I'm still trying to figure out. And then you got the mom who hasn't been in her life for years. The sister was putting her on blast about that. So we have, there's still a lot of information to find out about the case overall. I'd seen little bits and pieces. But this is a problem that's going on with these kids. I don't know what is happening where these children are not safe in their homes. This is crazy. Insanity seems like a stretch. Hiding her body is a conscience of guilt. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That don't mean they won't try it. But it's very interesting. So, but this is going on way too much with these kids. I just don't get it. Are people under, so I don't know. Generally, when you see things like this, the people are going through hard times and, whatever. But this just seemed to be pretty random. All of these situations are different but the same. When we look at the Kelly Bryant case, she just kept one and threw away the other. There are a lot more people than even 20 years ago. So more crime, but the depravity is disturbing. It is absolutely, it's really, really, really disturbing. It really is. They're gonna, systemically, they're gonna have to figure this out. And what's interesting to me is how these kids have fallen through the cracks. Not a neighbor, not a family member, not a neighbor, not a school official. I'm trying to figure out how Kelly Bryant's kids, they were out of school for 4 or 5 years and nobody came to the house. How they were in that apartment living and playing video games and whatever else. They had to make some noises. It's not like they were in a single family home. They were in a townhouse, more or less like an apartment building. Nobody heard anything. No, the landlord didn't come into the house to fix anything. This is it's just crazy. And this grandmother, Kei'mani Latigue's grandmother, also did the same as Naziah Harris's grandmother, contacted the school rather than the police to report her missing. Nitty says, I was violently abused my entire childhood and my caregivers got away with it. Happens all the time. It does. It really does happen all the time. I'm sorry to hear that. It happens all the time. But it does seem to be an uptick in these cases, unless this is just what's been going on and it's just now it's starting to come to light, one or the other. So we're going to have some discussions about that to find out what the situation is. So at any rate, I just wanted to pop up and show you guys that footage. I'll be back on tomorrow. If I don't do Sonia Massey earlier in the day, I do have an appointment tomorrow. I'll definitely be on for members only, and then we may drop Sonia Massey on Saturday. So we'll see. I just, I'll keep it posted on the community wall as usual. Thank you. I hope you all are having a good evening. It's 11:30. It's late here in Michigan. So I'm gonna log off and see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Have a great day tomorrow, everybody. Have a blessed one. CB says, I don't think they have truant officers anymore. I think the schools still have truant officers. They should, at least in the public schools. And then they have, well, I know here in Michigan, they have security police in the schools now that have arresting authorities and a lot of the same powers of regular police officers. Lots of schools have police on site. That's right. Yeah, they definitely have them here in Michigan. And they have essentially the same powers as any other police officer, but only for that location. It's centralized or limited to that school, but the same authorities as an officer, arrest powers and all of that. So I don't know, but in public school education, I think they still do have truancy officers, and I would imagine that they would have them in what are they, the charter schools and all of that they have now. So it's very interesting and things that has to be looked at, because these kids are not safe at home. That's the scary thing. It's not like they're out in the community and it's a whole lot of abductions or things like that. These are cases. These kids are being they are meeting their demise inside the sanctity of their own homes. So that's scary. All right, so we'll talk about it some more, and I'll see you guys at least tomorrow evening for members only at 7 p.m. See you guys then. Have a good one. Have a good night and have a good day tomorrow. Take care.
Enjoy more of our videos on the Community Advocate Network channel, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to advertise your service, special announcement, or event, you may contact us at the Community Advocate Network at gmail.com. For community resources or services, visit our website at www.canmichigan.com.